I recently conducted a series of polls in which my viewers and subscribers participated in order to determine which was the best alternative version of a 21 Pilot song that the duo has created. In a recent video, I went over the results of this poll, laying out the winners and discussing how they performed, and also a breakdown by album, as a lot of these alternative songs are sectioned into different collections of EPs or short albums. I also gave my own thoughts on which songs I believed should have ranked higher than they actually did, but I never actually went through and gave a full breakdown of how I would have ranked every one of these alternative songs. Several people requested that, asked that I would do that, and so here in this video, I'm going to be going through and ranking every single alternative version of a song by 21 Pilots. Now, I've actually never used this program Tier Maker before, especially not for a video, so bear with me if there are any hiccups along the way or any things which I need to become accustomed to. But today, we're going to try it out. Let's get into it. So as you can see, we have all the different songs laid out here at the bottom, and we're going to rank them according to S tier, which is apparently the highest, A, B, C, and D. Now, also, as you can see, I didn't include every single song off of the live stream experience, and that's because I didn't include every single one off of that album or that performance in the polling competition itself. And the reason for that was a lot of them are just live performances of these songs and not actually an alternative or reworked version of the song. And I explained that a bit in my video from a couple weeks ago, but there was some confusion. So just to clarify, that's why not everything was included off of that album. It's not because I was trying to ignore them. They just don't count as alternative versions of the songs for the metric that I was going for here, because otherwise I'd have to include everything that's ever been performed live by the band, and that wouldn't make much sense to do. Now, as you can see, Shy Away was included, and the rationale there is that that song is often considered, that song and its live performance are often considered to be an alternative version of Shy Away because it includes a scream, which is not found in the studio version, and it consistently includes that. It wasn't a one-off live performance that happened in. It was basically all the different live performances of that song in the Skill and Icy era, and I think even nowadays. But enough preamble. Let's actually get into ranking these songs. So we're going to start with the Mute Math Sessions album, Top Times MM. And the first one we have here is Heathens. I think I would put that in a B tier. And the reason being, it's very well made. It's very well performed. It has like this nice cinematic sound and feel to it, which I really enjoy. But it's not one I return to or listen to the most. I think it's a great version of Heathens, but I actually think the studio version is better. It's just better paced. It's got a better sound. This one can feel not empty so much as kind of flat sometimes. I think it's very well done. I don't listen to it all that much. It's not one of my top picks off that collection. All right, Heavy Dirty Soul. For now, I'm going to put that in S. Might move that down later as we go through. That one's very good. I suspect the other ones are going to push that out of first place. I love Heavy Dirty Soul as a song, as the studio version itself already, so I'm inclined to put this one up higher because of that already. And I there also aren't that many reworkings of Heavy Dirty Soul. It's the same thing with Stressed Out. There really only are two versions of Stressed Out that they've done that are alternate, besides the live version that they're doing right now in the Clancy tour, which I really hope we get a good. I mean, they're making Clancy live, right? We've heard of that album coming out. I really hope that gets on Spotify and isn't just an exclusive vinyl like they did with Blurryface live, because I love that version of Stressed Out to be something we can listen to more broadly, or at least on a CD as well as a vinyl, not just a vinyl exclusive that's like $1,000 now. So yeah, anyway, it's cool to see that they did a Heavy Dirty Soul one. Hope they will do more again at some point in the future. This might get jumped down. Ride, yeah, Ride's gonna have to knock that one out of place already. I just like that better. Great song. They do a fair amount of alternate versions of Ride, but this one's really good. I mean, really, all the ones on Mute Math are really good. But this one in particular is one of the best. Tear My Heart, I think D, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of Tear My Heart, even the studio version. It's great. It's a good song. Maybe it's a bit overplayed. I used to listen to it more than I do, but it was never a top song for me off of Blurryface. I think it was kind of hyped up a bit, so I'd listen to it because of that. But it's really not my favorite off of Blurryface. Definitely not my favorite off of this. I think it may be the worst or one of the worst alternate versions. It's well done. It's well performed. I just don't listen to it really ever. And then Lame Boy. Yeah, this is definitely better than Ride. I think I'd put both Ride and Lame Boy up here. Again, as we go through other ones, that might change. We obviously can't have everything on S tier. That would be a bit counterproductive. I definitely think it makes sense to put a lot of these Mute Math versions up higher because they're really good. And the EP is very underrated, but these are probably going to get bumped down later. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a bit new to Tier Maker and this program and this system. My understanding is that according to this placement here, Lame Boy is ranking higher than Ride because it is on the left, Ride's on the right. And so, if I put Heavy Dirty Soul here, it would kind of be like first, second, third place. So maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding how this works, but that's what I'm doing here for the purposes of this video and this ranking. Next up, we have Chlorine off of the Location Sessions, which is an EP that they produced and put together from the Trench era. And kind of like with Blurryface Live, this vinyl, or this EP, only exists as a collection on a vinyl. There's no CD, there's no official Spotify album that has all of these songs laid out in a collection like this. But all of these songs are available on Spotify, so it's a bit different. Some people were wondering why the reconstruct version of Ride, which was also created during these Location Sessions and during this era, was not included in the polling. And the reason for that simply was that it's not on this EP, and it's not an official Spotify release. You can really only find it on a YouTube YouTube video of the performance. And so I just figured it wasn't an official enough release to include as part of this. Maybe if we redo this later down the road, a couple years from now, especially if they do some more of these during the Clancy era, I'll include it then, because it kind of slipped my mind to include because it's really not an official release. It's hard to find, except for buried in that video of the storyteller performances, which is basically where Chlorine and Cut My Lip came from. So, all right. Chlorine, Mexico City, that's S tier. That's hard. These are so different and how they're performed that it's hard to say. I think for now I will put this here because it's very good. It's just very different, and it's a much calmer, more peaceful song. So it's hard to say. Cut My Lip, like that a lot. I think I'll put it in B though. It's also kind of slower, calmer, more peaceful version, just like Chlorine, but it's just not as good as the Chlorine one. But I think I'll put it higher than Heathens for now. The Berlin version of the Hype, I think after Heavy Dirty Soul is fair. The Hype is also one which they haven't done really any others besides this version of a reconstructed version. Now, obviously, I'm not assuming that they're going to do 2 or 3 versions of every single one of their songs once they've reconstructed it once. I'm not saying they should do another version of the Hype. I don't know really what else they would like. This is a very good version of the Hype, but the Hype's also a kind of not as big of a song as it was during Trench, and I have no expectation that they're going to do more versions of the Hype. It's just interesting that they've only done one because they often do repeat songs that they've reconstructed in the past. They will go back and redo again later because there's certain ones that they seem to love experimenting with and playing around with. Ride and Lame Boy in particular being some of those. But yeah, I think that goes in there for now. Again, these will move around as we continue to include more. And then Level of Concern Live from Outside, I think a C. I like Level of Concern a lot, and I really enjoyed it when it came out. I think it was perfect for that time of that point in history, as it were, especially for 21 Pilots history, and just I think it came at a perfect moment. It's not a song I really return to all that much, and the Live from Outside version, it does have that extra lyrics in the bridge that the studio version doesn't have. So I prefer the Live from Outside version to the studio version because of that. But I still, as a whole, don't actually listen to this song all that much. So I'll leave that in there for now. All right, Stressed Out from MTV Unplugged. I think it may be my favorite version off of MTV Unplugged. Again, we can't have a majority of songs in S tier. This has to be the smallest tier. So I might put this down here for now. I might move it to S tier and replace one of these other ones with it. I think once these are all up, I might be reorganizing things a little bit. We'll have to see. All right, MTV Unplugged, Tear My Heart. No, I think it's worse than the Me Math one. Again, it's good. It's well done. It's really fun to watch them build out these songs live. Love the MTV Unplugged session, but this is definitely the worst one. Even the pacing of it feels a little weird, especially at the beginning. I think it's just because they were working on building things out, but it's not one I really enjoy listening to all that much. Again, it's not bad. If it's your favorite, you don't like a bad song, but it may be the worst one here. So, all right, House of Gold, Lame Boy. My one gripe with this, which I also have with this one, is that on the Spotify CD vinyl versions that they released, they include a lot of the um, kind of audience interaction that leads up to performing these. And I understand why they did. That's part of the MTV Unplugged experience. It would have been a lot better, however, if they had created a separate track that was the intro to the House of Gold Lame Boy mashup. And then next track was the actual mashup itself, because it creates these really long tracks that are, if you're just listening to things in succession, you kind of end up wanting to skip through most of that audience interaction, and so it doesn't flow as nicely, and so it's harder to kind of listen to it in a sequence with other songs. I wish they'd made the MTV Unplugged CD and vinyl 9 tracks instead of 7, and included the intros for both of these, but they didn't. Anyway, that being said, I do really like this performance. I think B's fair. I think, yeah, it's definitely not better than Hype, but I think it is better than Cut My Lip. Well, no, actually, no. I take that back. It's not. It's not. It's good, but it's not that good. Yeah, no. In fact, I think I'll even put it there after Heathens. Shy Away. This one's fun, and I really like the piano in this one. I like the way this begins a lot better than the studio version. Probably just because I've overheard the studio version. I don't think this version would actually work as the studio version. And then it gets fun, and they start singing about being on MTV Unplugged, running out the clock. So I like it a lot. I think I'll put it. It's kind of like Level of Concern. I don't listen to Shy Away all that much. When I do, I enjoy it. I think it's a good song, but I don't listen to it all that much. But I do like this version better. Just like I like this version of Level of Concern better than the studio version. All right, Ride, Nico and the Niners. This is good. I think there. And that, I think I messed those up. This was the year. Yeah, I think I'll leave that as it is for now. I think that's a fair place to put it. I like this a lot. I like they bring in the Nico and the Niners verse. I think they could have put in more of Nico and the Niners. That would have been cool. But this is a really good performance. I might later change my mind and decide that Heathens is actually better. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Car Radio, Heathens. Now this is an interesting song. I like it. It took a while to grow on me. It's not really a style of music that I like all that much, but I do think it's very very well performed, and I think I've definitely started listening to it more after the Clancy era. I think it kind of signified where they were going with Clancy, and ironically, Navigating is one of my favorite songs off Clancy, which is more in this style than say this song. So I do really like this. I think here from now, I might move it up to B tier. It depends what else we put in C. My goal is to have this S tier just have 2 songs in it, and then kind of A. More of these will sing down to A and stuff. Stressed Out from the live stream experience. I do like this. I don't listen to it all that much. Most of the live stream experience I actually haven't returned to and listened to since Clancy came out. But Stressed Out, I think I will put in C. I think here. Yeah. Now, that may be controversial. I'm not really sure what the general consensus is on whether or not people as a whole like this one. I don't actually remember where it ranked, if I'm being honest, in the polling competition as a whole. We'll see. Again, it may move. Migraine, Morph, Holding On To You. I think here. Yeah. I like this mashup. I like these songs. Honestly, I think I'll put it at the top of D tier. It's good. They're all very well performed. Just as an alternative version, I don't return to it all that much. I would rather listen to the original versions of these songs. All right, Lame Boy Redecorate. This is the one. This is one of the ones that I listen to the most from the live stream experience. I think it's definitely higher than these. I well, I'll leave it here for now. It might sneak up to A tier, but for now, I think B's a good placement. It's definitely higher than these. I'm hesitant to say that it's better than any of these. So it might be worse. Maybe it should go here, but I think for now I'll leave it here and wait and see what else goes up in A tier. See if it deserves to stand with such in such company. All right, the live stream experience, Shy Away, is the one that is basically a live performance of Shy Away as opposed to the MTV Unplugged version of Shy Away. It's basically a live performance of Shy Away, but it has a scream. So I would put it here. I like it better than the studio version because it has that scream. It's just performed better. Fine. But I still like this one better. Honestly, you know what? I think not to put both Shy Aways right next to each other, but I think this is fair. I actually might move that there now that I think of it. Yeah, I'm stressed out. This it's better here. All right. Heathens, Trees. Not S tier. It's probably where a lot of people want me to put it, based off of the response to the last video. It's good. It's just not S tier. It's not. It's very good. Very well done. It's the other one from besides Lame Boy Redecorate mashup. It's the other one that I listen to the most off of the live stream experience. I think I'll put it here. No, yeah, I'll put it higher than Heavy Your Soul. I'm gonna move Heavy Your Soul over here. Just in terms of what I return to, what I listen to, what I enjoy the most. A lot of this is based off of just what I tend to return to and listen to the most, and what my listening patterns demonstrate are my favorite songs, or which ones I consider to be the best. All right, Jumpsuit Heavy Your Soul. This is very good. Yeah, I really like this version of both those songs. How they brought them together, how they used the rap from Heavy Your Soul to move from Jumpsuit to that. The music video for Jumpsuit obviously references Heavy Your Soul. Those two music videos were kind of sequel and prequel, or prequel and sequel, however you want to look at it. I mean, Heavy Your Soul came first. So I think it's really cool that they kind of acknowledged that in this mashup. Acknowledged how the Heavy Dirty Soul car and version of Clancy were there in that music video. Musically, it's very well done. I enjoy listening to it. I think end of B tier. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up here, and I'm going to move this to the top of the B tier, or the C tier. Put that like that, and like that. I think that's fair. All right, Stranger Things Heathens. Now, I know what people are going to say. If you included this, why didn't you include Ride, the reconstruct version? Like I said, it slipped my mind because it's not really an official release. It's harder to find. This is a standalone music video and so on, live performance. But it is true there is no CD, vinyl, physical release, digital release on Spotify or any of those other platforms. It just exists as a YouTube video performance, as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it does exist somewhere more officially. So I think it's fair to say maybe I should have included the Ride version in here as well. Retrospectively, I have reasons why I didn't include Ride, even if I am thinking about it. I can still justify not doing that. But genuinely, it came down to it isn't one that springs to mind as an official release from location sessions, because it's not. So anyway, I really like this mashup that I did. I think when you place it in comparison to everything else we have here, it has to be D tier. But I would put it in the top of the D tier. So, all right, so we have everything ranked now on this list. Like I said, there can only be two in the S tier at the end. So, got to move one of these and maybe rearrange things differently. Chlorine has to, well, does it have to stay up there? I think it does. I think it's definitely, it's the cleanest, it's the best, just really well done version. And I think this has to as well, because it's a very cool performance. It's a very well done, impressive performance. And Ride is 2, but between Lame Boy and Ride Ride's definitely the one that gets pushed back, as you can see. So I think that has to drop down here, and these two will stay. But now let me just look through the rest of these. I think it's fair to put Heathen's Trees above Stressed Out because, yeah, I really like this version. The synth, kind of at the beginning, as they are building out the song, doesn't quite sound right until they've kind of built out the rest of it. So there's a couple of seconds there where things sound a little off. Don't really have that in the Heathen's Trees mashup, but Ride's better. Ride's better than that. Hype, Berlin. I think, again, this is just cleaner than Stressed Out. Stressed Out's very good. This is cleaner version, cleaner song. I love the harmonizing that they have in this. I think it's much more creative, but this is much cleaner to listen to. Heavy Dirty Soul can go there. All right, so we have a lot in B. It makes sense that it's kind of, it's right in the middle, average. Makes sense that the most would be there. Do I want to reorganize these at all? Because I think I'm happy with these two, but I might see something here that should jump up to A. This can go back a bit. I think I'll move that there. Yeah, I think Car Radio Heathens should be higher than that. And yeah, that will stay there. It's I mean, all the Meat Math ones are really good. It's hard to even honestly, I think that's better. I think that's more fair. So happy with B as it stands right now. I didn't see anything to move up to A, so I suspect there will be nothing to move into A from the next ones. Yeah, Jumpsuit, Shy Away, Stressed Out, Other Shy Away, Global Concern. I think that's fair. Did rate these a bit more recently, so it makes sense they would kind of stay as they are. Stranger Things, again, this one, honestly, I think I'll put that there. This is more creative. Again, not a huge fan of Tear My Heart, not a huge fan of this version of Tear My Heart, but I think it's more creative and interesting than this. And this one just, again, good, is creative. I'm not a huge fan of this performance of it. I think it's well done, but it may be I think I might have to say it's the worst one. I think this is good. I think this is a final ranking. To be fair, if I were to redo this in a month from now, I'm sure certain things would be different. That's kind of just comes with the territory of how this works. So this is how I rank everything right now. I'm happy with this. I think this is good. I think this reflects my opinion on all of these. But if I were to redo this a year from now, I'm sure things will be drastically different. And if they do something like this, another album or EP like these for the Clancy era, besides the live Clancy album, the tour album, then I most likely will do another one of these, as long as people are interested in seeing it. All right, so if we were to look at I think it was the top 6 that I looked at in my video breakdown of the polling competition results. So if we're going to look at the top 6 here, we have Lane Boy from the Meat Math Sessions, Chlorine from Mexico City, Ride, again from the Meat Math Sessions, Heathens and Trees, The Hype from Berlin, and Stressed Out from MTV Unplugged. I was curious to see how this compared, this current ranking here, compared to what I had laid out as my ranking in the video that I did, I think 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. So it was a little different. In 5th place, or let me go first to third. So first place was the same, Lame Boy from the Meat Math Sessions. Second place was also the same, Chlorine from Mexico City. So I would have ranked both of these exactly as they are right now, so it hasn't changed. Then Stressed Out from MTV Unplugged was actually in 3rd place, not 6th. And then 4th and 5th, which is where these are, was actually Lame Boy, Redecorate, and Jumpsuit Heavy Your Soul were up here. So it's interesting. Just in a few weeks, those already dropped down quite a bit. But it is different when you're looking at everything kind of laid out all at once here in this way. So anyway, with that being said, this was just my personal ranking of all the songs from the different recreated, reworked versions of these different songs as they've released over the years from different eras. Really hope, as I mentioned a couple times, that they do another one for this Clancy era. But even if they don't, I enjoy doing this. Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment your own thoughts on this below. And don't forget to subscribe for more music commentary and reviews.